topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Welcome to my radio and TV show, Debi Changes Lives. I'm Debi, a certified holistic health coach. I revitalize people's lives by helping them identify the root causes of their health and mindset issues and create the custom mental and holistic strategy to address them in the areas of mind, body, and soul. As a health coach, I'm not allowed to say that I heal, treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose any diseases. I can certainly make your body more efficient by reducing symptoms. You'll feel better, be more productive, and enjoy life more. Not many people have released 70 pounds, had a health and mindset transformation, and kept fit and trim for over a decade. I have, and I have staying power, and it's actually been over 11 years. I even became a half marathon runner at the age of 51 when I never ran from childhood to adulthood due to foot pain. And I actually done 8 half marathons. Mindset is the key to lasting change. As a certified holistic health coach, I do revitalize people's lives in many different areas of health and mindset. I guide them to clean, toxic-free foods and high-quality essential nutrients. My coaching is for optimizing health, releasing weight efficiently when needed, and enhancing your mindset. With my clients, I help them recognize that their thoughts, feelings, and emotions drive their actions and results, sometimes good, sometimes bad. And so that's really crucial to have a positive mindset. And also, it's imperative to manage your emotions and release those low vibrational emotions like fear, frustration, and doubt, because all they're going to do is slow you down and get you stuck physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Like a hot air balloon that has ballasts, I help my clients release those emotional ballasts and baggage so they can uplift to a better, happier, healthier life. In turn, they are releasing their stress. They're getting healthier, and they are reshaping their core beliefs. You'll see and feel the differences with my coaching programs. Ask me about them. Set up a complimentary consultation at Debi Changes Lives. That's DebiChangesLives.com/Linktree, LINKTREE. And I'll guide you to that better, happier, healthier life with custom natural solutions in the areas of mind, body, and soul. Go next. Remember, I do have this new collaborative webinar with Alan Stevens, an international profiling and communication specialist. It's 2 talks in one. The name of the actual event is called Your Faith Reveals, Your Mind Transforms. And my talk is about master your mind to transform your life. And I help people recognize where stress comes from, and show them how to release the stress and emotions so they can be healthier and happier. Alan is talking about unlocking the secret language of the face. And he's going to show you that there's hidden facial features. They'll give you the truth. And you'll see it in yourself and others, and you'll be able to communicate better and have better, stronger and better relationships, both in business and personal life. It's on Wednesday, October 27th at 7 p.m. Pacific. And you get more information at bit.ly/your face reveals, your mind transform is one word. And you'll see there when you push the ticket that you'll get a recording. So if you're a little bit late or you really want to do this, purchase the ticket because you'll get the recording with all the free offer and also, discounted programs. Purchase your tickets right away. And I have a brand new $15 off coupon, which is 15 off. So you have no reason not to sign up. Now, today on my show, I want to make people, want to make people make sure they don't have stress. And sometimes, when something happens to our children that's out of our control, it can be very stressful. So I want parents to know a place and service to turn to. So as I was saying on my show, I have back Lynda Bergh, a private investigator. Lynda was supposed to be a ballerina, but an unexpected plot twist led her to a career as being a private investigator on one of her first cases over 42 years ago. She ignited the passion for protecting children. Lynda and I aim to prevent anxiety, sleeplessness, eating disorders in children caused by grooming, exploitation, and sextortion. Lynda also helps parents avoid the anxiety related to these crimes. Lynda provides knowledge to the parents and children that they need to stay safe. Lynda's expertise spans asset researches, elder abuse, cyber crimes, cellular forensics, and fighting child trafficking. She has rescued hundreds of children and now educates others on identifying and avoiding predators, both online and in person. Today, we'll be discussing keeping our children safe for Halloween. So let's shine a light on children's safety for Halloween and welcome back Lynda Bergh, a licensed California private investigator, to my show.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. I appreciate it. It's good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to have you back. So, anywho.
So, I'm going to get this out of the way at the very beginning. I looked a little different than usual. Had a little run-in with a sidewalk yesterday. So it's not a Halloween costume. It's just, a temporary fashion statement, so to speak.
Yeah, it is. At least you don't have anything broken, and that's really important.
Right. Got bumps and bruises, nothing broken. So.
That's good. Now let's get going. With Halloween and being dark, we really want to make sure our children are safe, especially because we don't know who's out there. Mm-hmm. Where and when are our children most vulnerable while celebrating Halloween?
Well, now you would think they'd be the most vulnerable out walking the streets trick-or-treating. And in some areas, that's true. If they're in areas that are not well lit, or if they're walking along busy streets, high traffic streets. But they can also be vulnerable at Halloween parties. So, they can be invited to a party and they don't necessarily know who all is going to be there. Sometimes, especially teenagers, have parties and they invite anyone and everyone they know, and you don't always know. And that leads to, dangers, including maybe something being slipped in a drink or, there's been stories over the years of things been put in candy that kids get when they're trick-or-treating. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But at parties, you don't really know who's there, who they're around. Fentanyl and other drugs pop up all over the place these days. It's very dangerous. So you just want to make sure you know exactly who they're with and where they are. And if they're walking streets, I would say walking the streets, that sounds terrible. If they're trick-or-treating on the street, make sure they have flashlights and, costumes that can be well seen and things like that.
Yeah. Gosh, when I was growing up, I guess it was razor blades.
It was razor blades and candy bars.
And candy bars are apples because people gave regular, apples
right.
And things like that. And you had to be careful not to have anything that had punctures. And I was a very careful person to check everything out. And my mom was too. So it's unreal that now we have to be considered, be careful of fentanyl. And that's really an unseen thing, maybe.
It can be unseen, or there's been things that look like candy that are actually laced with fentanyl. So there have been, there's been seizures. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Seizures of drugs or, suspicious things that they found that have tested. It looks like Smarties, those little candy Smarties.
Oh, wow.
And things like that are actually laced with fentanyl. Yeah.
Is it in the actual box? That looks like
Yeah, it's because they're rolled up in the little paper rolls.
Oh, okay.
So it's easy to unroll it and do something with it and roll it back up, and you can't even tell.
Wow. So they make it the same shape.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I guess it could be like I was thinking of those, I don't know why, I was thinking of those gummy things.
Well, that too. I mean, it could be gummy bears. I think it's
Or those little like dome things that have like sugar.
Oh yeah. It could be like any soft candy. It's super simple to do. And that's also happened with candies that look like Skittles. So it's scary. It's a scary world out there,
M&M's, stay away from M&M's, I guess.
I don't know. I think I might notice that candy coating was tampered with. You have to look at them closely.
Skittles are kind of have that candy coating. So, okay, I guess it's not as thick as the M&M.
Right. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's scary.
It is scary.
Wow. Now, gosh, we really have to do this these days. Could you give an outline of boundaries for parents to give their children? I know that's something that we just have to do if I had a little one. Like specific areas where they can go trick-or-treating, trunk-or-treating, or who they will be with.
Sure. So back in the day, like my brothers and I would see how far away from home we could get and then work our way back. And it was safe. It was the 60s. It was safe. Well, there were the razor blades and the apples every now and then. But we didn't take anything that wasn't candy, which is kind of funny, or made by a neighbor we knew. Because a couple of our neighbors made these great cookies and donuts that they did at Halloween. But anyway, there doesn't seem to be as much door-to-door trick-or-treating going on these days as there once was. A lot of places are putting on events called trunk-or-treating, where it's at a big venue somewhere, and literally you go from trunk to trunk, and the people have candy to give out. And those are more monitored, shall I say. They pretty much know who's at those things. It's often put on by a school or a church or a chamber of commerce or something where there's a little bit of control over who's doing what. So those, in my opinion anyway, seem to be pretty safe locations. Trick-or-treating, obviously, if they're going to go out trick-or-treating, you want to stay close to home. If they're little kids, a parent should go with them. And if there's a long driveway, the parent should walk up the driveway. I had, where I used to live, it wasn't that far to the sidewalk, but they would send, kids that could barely walk up to the front door by themselves. And of course, the kids look adorable, but, mom or dad should be right there because you don't know who's in that house.
Yeah, because maybe it's a rented house now. You don't know.
Yeah. So I sound so overly paranoid and cautious, but
it's not a bad idea, though.
We just have to be these days. It's just, there's too much craziness going on out there right now. And, all about kids. I'm all about kids being safe. So,
yeah. And to tell you the truth, I think it's safer whenever there's when they're littler, to do things as a group.
Oh, absolutely.
Other kids, and then you're with other parents, and you're having fun and doing that. And you really have an eye on everything.
And even when they're at that age, when they're like maybe 8, 9, 10, 11, where the parents are a little bit freer with them, make sure they go out in groups. So at least they're not by themselves. I mean, I still would think there should be a parent around, which of course the kids would hate. But there should be one that can see them sort of what they're doing. But, you don't want an 8-year-old walking up to houses all by himself or a 9-year-old. It's, they're like, I'm not a toddler anymore, Mom. I can go.
Yeah.
Well, they should be with their friends.
Yeah, I think it's really important for at least when they're a little bit older, because they know not to run into the street at that time. But if they have a parent there, in case something happens, they may trip and fall and hurt themselves, or they may, I don't know,
trip on a sidewalk.
You could trip on the sidewalk, but maybe they have a health condition or something, and something is triggered, and so at least a parent's there in case of emergency, and in case something strange is going on as well. Now, you briefly touched on the importance of safe costumes, and it's really important when they have those masks that they can see. I make sure my son had that. I make sure that that it was it's something you could be seen at night. But do you have any other specific ideas about good costumes?
You also want to make sure they're non-flammable. because a lot of people have candles. I used to have these little pumpkins with candles in them along my sidewalk. And they were set back enough to where anyone really paying attention where they were going would notice. But a small child, it could, they could have bumped into them. So I was very careful about that, obviously. But a lot of people do that. They have candles, and there could be open, just candle flames and a costume. Oftentimes it's windy or breezy on Thanksgiving, on Halloween night. And so you don't know if the costume's going to blow a little bit and could hit a flame or something. So that's super important. Or some of them are made out of fabric that is so highly flammable that even if it were to hit like a hot light, it could melt or even burst into flame, which is scary. You want to make sure you get non-flammable costumes.
I think some of those princess costumes are, they're like a little butterfly, or even like a ballerina thing. There's some frills that are like, they probably don't pay attention where those frills are going.
Yeah, like gauzy fabric or chiffony type fabric. Yeah, it can go all over. So that's important. And then, like you said, masks, they've got to be able to see.
Yes.
In their mask. And a lot of those full face masks, they can't see. They can't breathe properly either, actually.
So maybe just some, eyewear versus,
like the stuff we used to wear as kids, the little, the little eye masks, and that was it.
Yeah. It's funny, when I was trick-or-treating with my son when he was younger, I wore one of these, I don't even know if I still have it around. It was really decorated. It was like a little mask. And I was in my running gear. But it matched my mask. I'm the happy runner.
There you go.
I'm very creative when it comes to costumes.
Yeah, that's great.
I always try to, we were pirates at one time because of the Wiggles, and you want to be Captain Feathersword. There was a theme of he was Luke Skywalker, I was Princess Leia. He was Lightning McQueen, and we were in mechanic outfits to look like his pit crew.
Oh, cute. Oh, that's really clever.
I really had fun.
Yeah. That was fun. There was one year when I was in high school that my friend and I dressed up in these clown costumes that my grandmother had made for my parents, like when they first got married. So they were like these vintage costumes. And we packed them with pillows. So we looked just huge, and we could barely walk. And we thought, at one point, one of us, I think she fell down and we couldn't stand her back up. Yes. And there's costumes like that too, that we went way over the top, and we literally walked down the street and we were being silly. But there's costumes like that, or inflatable costumes that, adults can get away with wearing, but kids probably shouldn't.
No, and you don't want anything that's going to make them trip.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to wear sensible shoes too.
Yeah.
People don't think about the shoes. Shoes are important. Yeah.
Because their feet are going to hurt if it's uncomfortable. So
yeah.
It's dark anyways. Just have more tennis shoes.
Yeah, just wear tennis shoes, and then they're not as inclined to step on something that could hurt their feet or trip on something or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And you briefly touched on this subject too, but we'll dive into it just a little bit more. But you need to prepare your child with, if they're approached by a stranger while trick-or-treating or trunk-or-treating, and you mentioned a Halloween party. Can you give people some simple tactics that you can teach them for their kids?
Sure. Number one is stranger danger, which works everywhere. But even at a party, if a totally unknown person comes up and offers a child food or a drink or something, they should say no. It needs to come from the host or the hostess. They want to make sure they know where it came from, especially at larger parties. If you're at a little tiny party with, your family, you're safe. But kind of a larger party where you don't know, make sure that the food comes from either the main table where the food is, not someone walking around offering you food or things like that, because these predators are very creative for how they lure kids away. And it happens to adults too, with, things slipped in drinks or food.
Okay.
So that's really important. Yeah. And don't if you're trick-or-treating and someone offers a bottle of water, say it's hot, which it's not usually hot, but someone offers a bottle of water, don't take it unless you can tell for sure it's original sealed, factory sealed. which, if you take it and you open the top, it snaps open.
Right,
But
right.
I would advise them just not to take it at all. Kids should have their own water with them if they need it or something like that.
At those busy parties, sometimes you get separated from people that you're with.
Right.
Too. Too.
Yeah, you can't just have fun like you used to be able to back in the day. So, yeah.
You need to find out who you're with and stick with them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Or just not go to giant parties, but
Yeah.
sometimes those big parties are fun. So,
And sometimes they're in a haunted house that's dark.
yes. Oh my gosh. My church group, when I was a teenager, we went to a haunted house, the scariest haunted house. And back in the day, they would let the characters touch you. And I was really tiny, and one of the monsters picked me up.
Oh,
Like he was going to carry me away. I almost ripped the arm out of the guy behind me in line because I grabbed on so hard. Because, it was so real. And I thought, I think nowadays they're not allowed to touch anyone. But it was one that was like, a professional haunted house, but they would let them touch you.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was terrible. I've not gone to a haunted house since, actually. It was terrifying.
I think if I was going to go to a haunted house with my children, I would be with them.
Yeah.
Because it's usually the lighting is not very good. It can be very disorienting. And, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, when we did that one, it was just kids. And I was probably 9 or 10. I was pretty little or pretty young. And the parents weren't going through it. They just sent us through, whoever was in charge. And I came out and I was like, that is never happening again. And it never has. It totally traumatized me when it comes to haunted houses.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, can you imagine? I literally thought this guy was going to carry me away.
Yeah. Did you kick him?
I did.
What?
I did kick him. And like I said, I held on to the guy behind me so hard. I practically pulled his arm out of the socket. He was laughing. Afterwards, he was laughing, but I hurt his arm because he was really so tight. It's like, no one's taking me. Or if they're taking me, you're coming with.
There you go. There you go. Pull your friends with you.
Never go off by yourself. See, that's, don't wander around by yourself. Stick to somebody. Have a buddy.
Yes. Yes. And always ask your parents' permission on something like that. Just don't go off on your own days.
Absolutely.
Because
and parents need to require that because, a lot of parents are like, oh, they're okay. They're out there having fun. And, that's when disaster strikes.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. This neighborhood used to be one of the most popular neighborhoods. And over the years, it's like maybe 2 or 3 doorbell rings.
Yeah.
And it's all because of what's been happening lately. And I really don't blame people, really.
It's sad because it used to be so fun. It was so fun to get your costume and plan where you were going to go, get your candy and go home and sort through it all. It was just such a fun thing. And yeah, a lot of it's been ruined over the years.
And it's also fun for the parents because we used to watch a movie or something like, Young Frankenstein. While we're waiting for the trick-or-treaters to ring that doorbell and things like that.
Yeah. So a lot of the fun has been taken away. I think this year, is it on a Saturday? I think it's on a weekend this year. There'll probably be a lot of parties, which interferes, so to speak, with the trick-or-treating. But if I was a parent, I would want my kids to be at home at my party instead of out anyway.
Very true. Maybe a lot of parents are doing that anyways, or it's a Friday night.
It's a weekend night. Yeah, there's going to be parties. So
the neighborhoods can have their own party if they really want to, if they have a lot of little kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, and that's what part of that trunk and treating at churches and things like that. They're like a party. I remember I got pulled to many of those trunk and treating, and I was like,
isn't it? Trunk and treat.
Yeah, trunk and treating, and because you don't want to say trunking. So anyway, it was a fun thing to do with with his friends and things like that. And they would decorate their trunks in a different theme of Halloween. So yeah, it was fun to see.
It is. All that stuff is fun. So it just has to stay safe.
Yeah, you do have to stay safe. One thing that is it was a a problem for us as we were growing up, and still a problem for a lot of kids. And for sure, there's dietary problems. I mean, my son is allergic to tree nuts.
Oh.
So what do you recommend for parents to do?
Well, first of all, somehow you have to convince the kids not to eat anything till they get home.
Exactly.
Which we were always told that. We're like, you don't eat candy. The goal was to collect the candy, not to eat it. That was like, you don't eat anything until you get home. And that helps, especially if there's allergies, because not everyone that's handing out candy does that, or tries to avoid those things. There's so many candy bars that have nuts in them, or other things that they could be allergic to. And then things that are tampered with. I know last year there were just a handful of reports on candy that was tampered with, and when there's only a couple reports, you don't know if it's really real or not. It's almost like someone just wants to mess with people. But you've got to be careful and check the packaging and make sure it really is sealed shut and there's no little holes in it, which is kind of a pain, but it needs to be done. So the kids need to know not to eat anything.
Yeah.
And, unless it's something that, and as far as like homemade things, like I said, one of our neighbor that lived across the street made the most amazing, like apple cinnamon donuts at Halloween. And she gave, little miniature ones, and she gave them out. And we ate those while we were trick-or-treating because they were usually warm. So like she was handing them out warm to the kids. So something like that, if you know the person for sure, is probably safe, but it's still a good idea just not to eat anything till they get home. So mom and dad or whoever can inspect it and make sure it's safe. And not something with an allergen in it, or like I'm allergic to turmeric, among a whole bunch of things, but turmeric is popping up in all kinds of things, including like donuts, and it was in vanilla ice cream that my husband bought not too long ago. Like, why would there be some? So it's in candies now too. I can't remember what kind of candy it was.
Probably coffee drinks too. Yeah.
Huh?
Probably coffee drinks as well. I mean,
oh yeah. So I make all that kind of stuff. I make it myself, or it's such a weird thing to be allergic to, but it's in everything right now. So yeah, if the kids have allergies, in addition to peanuts, other allergies, it's super important to check for that.
Yeah. Well, peanuts is actually a legume. It's not a tree nut.
That's true. There's tree nuts in there. People always clump it together, but yeah.
And some people are gluten intolerant as well. And sugar, you really want your kids to have that much sugar?
Yeah.
Because it would really, go.
That's true. You don't want them all hopped up and awake for 3 days because
I know. So they can enjoy some of it, but maybe you should portion it off to, give it away if people take candy from Halloween anymore.
Right.
Because it's, the kids don't need all that sugar.
That is true. I think my parents made us I think my dad ate a lot of it, but there were 4 of us kids. And so it got split up in 4, containers or whatever and got put on a shelf. And, it's not like we took the bag of candy to our room and went crazy and ate it all. So it lasted a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've found things that are really old, so I ended up throwing it away.
Right. Oh, yeah. Some of it, yeah. Once it gets to a certain point, it's like, nope, that just goes.
That just goes. Is this from Halloween? Yeah. It's December. It can go now.
Right. Exactly.
It's just, it's okay a few items, but they really don't need that many.
Right. That's where kind of the parties are better than trick-or-treating, really. And especially when it's not as much fun as it once was anyway. Go to a party where you get your stuff and you eat your food that's not necessarily all good for you. But then when you go home, all that food isn't sitting there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, at these parties, I guess there's a lot of things that can go on. There's activities and games and I don't even know if they've done for apples anymore. But
I remember doing that when I was a kid, but yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. They really need to know. The parents really need to know the people that are doing these parties.
Yeah.
And maybe ask the parents, how big is this party going to be? How many people you're going to have? Mm-hmm. Because, you don't want your child to, especially if they're shy, to become a flower child, a wall child, they go against the wall.
A wallflower. Yeah.
Wallflower.
Yeah.
And only because that can lead to trouble.
Yes, it can lead to trouble. There's been assaults that have happened and kids that have disappeared from parties because they went off with somebody, or they leave by themselves because they're either bored or lonely or scared or feel like they're being bullied by someone, and they'll take off. So they should always have a buddy. If the parent's not there, they need to have a buddy, so someone for sure knows.
Yeah, but the buddy needs to stick with them too.
Yeah, that's the whole point. The buddy they've got to be stuck to each other like glue. Just handcuff them together. They'll be fine. I'm sorry. Wait, before you go on the party, come here, you guys. Handcuff.
No.
Someone probably won't like that, but I apologize. But that's kind of funny. It could be part of their costume.
And that just reminded me, I mean, this is not even Halloween related, but sometimes when I do my half marathons, you see people dressed up, and these guys are all dressed up like they were a chain gang.
Right? There you go.
And it's like everyone had to run. They literally had to run together. And I looked at them like, why? Are you doing that?
That's funny. But yeah, there's kind of that part to it. But hey, if it keeps them together, it keeps them together, especially the preteens or the young teens. Some 13-year-olds are 13 going on 25, and some are 13 going on 10. So the young ones especially, they need to for sure be attached to a buddy somehow.
Is it really easy to recognize someone that might be creating danger for a child?
It is. It's a lot easier online than it is in person, which seems kind of weird. But if someone, if an adult, or even it can be a young adult with a young teenager, so like a 10-year age difference or whatever, being overly flirty or something like that can be a sign. I know there's some people that just don't really get the concept of whether or not they should flirt with a kid because they think they're being funny. Sometimes they just think they're being funny, but
they're too young for that.
Right. Yeah. If they're just too young for them, then they shouldn't be showing that much interest in them. So,
and plus, maybe they're trying to do that to attract them to do something they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Oh, this world today. I'm sorry.
I'm always like, it's so uplifting to have me on a podcast.
You kind of laugh about you trying to be,
I try to be upbeat, and every now and then I'll make a joke when I'm out doing a presentation, and half the time they fall flat because I'm like, okay, just trying to be funny for a minute because this is all so heavy. And like the kids, especially when I'm talking to kids, they don't get the joke, so they're like,
yeah, they probably don't.
Yeah,
they don't.
But got to have a little bit of lighthearted something in all of this.
Yeah, they really need. The parents need to be educated, and so do the children.
They do.
Because, I was just thinking this the other day, the world I grew up in is completely different than the world my son is growing up in. And even though my world was a little bit different, it wasn't so dramatically different. Does that make sense? For my parents?
Yeah.
And it's, they have to have different, different survival techniques, different ways of dealing with things, because I didn't have to deal with that type of
right thing. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff they have to deal with that we never have anything,
And I know there were some things that were different for us as we grew up. My parents were born in the Depression era, but
yeah.
So but my whole point is that things change over the years, but it dramatically went. And I'm hoping it's coming back up.
I hope so. Yeah, because it's really far anyway.
Coming back up.
Yeah.
But we just need to, make sure our children are safe.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that we're safe.
Yes, absolutely.
And just be aware of stuff out there. And that's why, even though these podcasts are a little bit, things that people don't want to hear about possibly, it's important to know and get educated so that you could do something for your kids.
Yes,
for yourself, so that when you have this type of thing going on, they know where to turn to.
absolutely.
Do you have any other advice that you
Oh,
can
I
have?
have some great advice for that particular thing. To get for the parents to get educated, number one, shameless plug, buy my book. It's called Your Amazing Itty Bitty Keep Your Children Safe book. It's little tiny. You can see it's itty bitty. So it's a quick read. It's available on Amazon. And it has all the basics for what kids and adults need to know, and elderly as well. It covers everybody. The only question that's totally different between a predator going after a child and one going after someone that's elderly is the question, how old are you? And sometimes they ask the older people how old they are. But with kids, that's usually the first thing that's said online and sometimes in person.
Wow.
They don't know how old they are. But
That's cute, right?
yeah. So that's huge. But and then there are places you can search. I'm on the board of millionkids.org, which exists to educate kids and parents on how to stay safe. So, and there's other entities like that as well. So people can search out sextortion or human trafficking education, and they'll come up with places where they can either get in-person trainings or virtual trainings. We from Million Kids, we go anywhere, and I will talk online, I will talk in person, I will go wherever someone wants me. And okay. I will talk to a group of one. I know that's not a group, but a group of one, it's happened, or hundreds. It doesn't matter. The size doesn't matter. It's so important to get this out there.
It is. So you will come and talk at school, right?
Oh,
or
yeah.
Church, or so you should reach out to her so that you can get people to know how to keep their children safe, no matter it's Halloween or not.
Right. All year round. Yes.
All year round. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just Halloween is a little bit more of a trickier things.
Yeah. There's a few more little unusual dangers going on at Halloween time.
Yeah. Very quickly, do you have one more tip?
Kids need to know. Think about that. Okay, regarding stranger danger, and this is in person or online, either way it works. Mm-hmm. If someone places you in a position that's uncomfortable, scary, you don't know what to do, go to a trusted adult and tell them something. This is a dual tip. So, and if you cannot do that, if they try to convince you to go somewhere with them, do not go. No matter what. If they try to physically pull you into a car, fight. Do not get into the car. So, and if you're online and they say, hey, let's change this chat room that we're in to another one somewhere else, that's just like being kidnapped on the street and taken to a second location. So It's dangerous.
Very good tips. Well, we'll probably have more time at the end of the show, but why don't we get to your offer? So if you can show that. Lynda has an offer. Here you go. You can tell them.
Okay. It's the top 10 ways to keep children safe. It's available at this very complicated, it's HTTPS.
It's a bit.ly link.
I know. It's a bit.ly link. That's top 10 ways to keep children safe. And it's my suggested top 10 things to look for. And it's pretty comprehensive. So I suggest that anybody should have it, and get it, keep it on your computer, carry it around in your purse, whatever, share it with your friends. It's important information to have to keep them safe.
Okay. And that's something that's really easy to get. And if something happens, I hope nothing happens to anyone's children, please contact Lynda for some assistance. I've actually referred her to some people, already. And just mention, Debi, I heard you on Debi Changes Lives, and please, I need help. Mm-hmm. And she has a heart of gold. So reach out to her.
I will help a child anytime, any place. Definitely.
Well, thank you for being on my show. Please stick around for closing remarks. I'm sure we're going to have some time.
I will do that.
Okay. Now, remember, I do revitalize people's lives in many different areas of health and mindset. And I do help you correct your gut first, and as well as mindset. And I can help people with blood sugar problems, hormones, brain and heart, immunity, you name it, from people that have anxiety to athletes. Because I do guide you to clean, toxic-free foods and high-quality essential nutrient products. And that will optimize your health. It will help you reduce your symptoms. You'll feel better. And, who knows, you may release some weight, but it definitely will uplift your mood. And as well as with my mindset coaching, I help you enhance your mindset by releasing your stress, emotional entanglements, and also reshaping your core beliefs. Then with my health and weight transformation, I'm making your body more efficient. That's a brain-heart connection that makes your heart and soul sing. So ask me about my programs by setting my complimentary consultation at Debi Changes Lives, DebiChangesLives, as in Victory ES.com/Linktree. And there you get to know me, I get to know you, and I'll guide you to your optimal health. And it starts with 1 or 2 assessments. Now, the health evaluation is actually complimentary, where you rate your symptoms in 4 categories of health from the last 30 days. Some questions repeat in multiple categories. So answer them all. You will get a baseline score. I'll review it with you. And when you move forward with my services, I'll give you a custom natural holistic strategy that will utilize on a monthly basis to see how your score is improving. I also have 2 body Zyto scans, and I prefer to do Zyto's Visera link because I can do it remotely and internationally. And I actually sent it to Australia and South Africa. Visera link is a transdermal optical imaging app that I send a link to your phone. You scan your face for 30 seconds. It's going through your skin, looking only at blood flow for components of energetic, functional, emotional, and different body systems and lifestyles. That emotional one is such a hidden gem. It creates a wellness report of biomarkers out of range and products and services that bring back into range. It's quite an intensive report, so I do review it with you. And the cost of the scan is $75. And when you move forward with either a product or a program, I give you a $25 credit. Visera Link is that transdermal optical imaging app, also known as TOI, and you can look up its accuracy at pubmed.gov. That's PUBMED.gov, and you'll find out how accurate it is. Also, I have a package of 5 scans where you can save $50. When people take this scan, they're really amazed what their body tells them, and you'll be too. Curious? Either you can ask me questions in my consultation site or simply get it done yourself and see what it's all about. And also on the site are my programs. Take Your Body Back is a 12-week weight release mindset coaching program where you can be utilizing a new version of you for your success. All coaching is done on Zoom, and the first one's always private to you because I'm a certified HIPAA health practitioner, and any evaluation is private to you. I also give you a choice of 3 programs and directions on one, and I also give you instructions how to create that new version of you in an avatar board that'll drive you with emotion and passion to achieve your health and weight transformational goals throughout your journey. The rest of the coaching, whether it's in group or private, is the same. We'll be celebrating our wins. I'll be showing you how to use your boards, and I'll guide you over gaps with health and mindset tips. You'll become a new you. You can ask me questions at my consultation, and as well as I have a do-it-yourself program, which is called Y-Fast. It's an intermittent fasting program, which will make your body and cells hum and boost your metabolism with rich, dense nutrition and high-quality essential nutrients with a program of exercise and recipes. Here you can ask me questions about that. If you feel like you need some coaching, there's a 2-referral program that you can do. And if you want more coaching after that, that is up to you. With my mindset enhancement and weight release, health optimization programs, you can use these smaller programs, but truly that could be a longer journey, and the larger program might be better for you. I could also create a custom program for you. And if you can, there you go. I have a couple new programs, and they're kind of different. So Hope is for women from 30s to the 100s, believe it or not, having to do with pause, perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. I was really amazed to find out, even though I thought I had no symptoms. I had some symptoms of some of these issues. So I decided to start this program out, and I'm going to try it for 90 days and see how I do. So I'm looking for women that want to do this and see if they'll get improvement with reducing your symptoms. And I have a natural approach to the GLP-1. You can go back for a second. I have a natural approach for the GLP-1. It is YGY 30-day GLP system. And it's all natural. It has 3 products in it. One is a shot that is actually liquid that you drink. Other 2 are powder drinks that you make into drinks. One is a probiotic that you use to help detoxify you and also make your gut healthier so you won't have any stomach issues. And another one is going to regulate your GLP so you can, curb your appetite and release weight. This is the third option in my Take Your Body Back. Now you can go to the next slide. I'm still offering Debi's coaching chats. Is that still on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific? And that'll be 7 p.m. Eastern. And it's on a topic. It's 30 minutes long. It's an intimate group setting. It's not recorded, but you need to sign up at Debi Changes Lives. That's DebiChangesLives, LIV as in Victory ES.com/chats, CHTS. You learn what my coaching is all about. Finally, learn more about alternative health. Go to the next one. Learn more about alternative health services, products, offers, articles, blogs, and promos by signing up for my newsletter, which is at DebiChangesLives.com/radio TV show. And my gift is a 30-day health and mindset daily action journal, where you're going to be recording your gratitudes, thoughts, feelings, emotions, food, water, supplements, and exercise you've done on a daily basis. You can even track your measurements. Then you want to review it on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to see your wins and celebrate them. Find your gaps to work on. If you need help bridging that gap, you contact me for coaching. This is a great health and mindset awareness tool. I'm certain that you found this show educational, eye-opening, and enjoyed it. Reach out to me for my products, services, and offers, and reach out to Lynda for her service and her offer. Do we have time for Lynda to come back?
I'm back.
Mark, is there anything you want to say?
Just thank you again so much for having me here. Anywhere that, I love to get the word out on anything that has to do with keeping kids safe. And I so appreciate you having me and your audience for listening to this and hopefully paying attention and implementing some of our suggestions to help keep their kids safe. Because, you want a stress-free life or, less stress in your life. Oh, that helps if your kids are safe. So you don't want to be worried about what they're doing every waking moment.
Yeah, and that's what I want from the women in this audience is that any parent, you want to be less stressed and enjoy your life and enjoy watching your children get married and have their own children too.
Absolutely.
So that's the whole point. And that's why I offer so many things about releasing stress and also releasing weight and becoming healthier. And I guess we have a minute or so left, but do you have any upcoming events that people can catch you at? I'm sorry.
I know. I don't. I think my next upcoming speaking things are private events. Mm-hmm. But just, if anyone's looking for a speaker, I am available. I make myself available, virtually or in person to speak to kids or adults. So hit me up.
Wonderful. Thank you for being my show. And we will be talking soon.
Thank you.
And, wait until we finish with the show. So remember, my show is continue to enjoy my radio and TV show. That's on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, where your holistic journey begins.